I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip.
That corroded brain is in charge of our lives. If you voted for that, it's okay to reconsider. It's perfectly fine.
It honestly started like just another late-night jab, the kind people are used to hearing from Jimmy Kimmel, you know, bright lights, studio crowd laughing, everything set up for a joke, and then he looks straight into the camera and brings up Donald Trump again. But this time, the reaction from Trump came back so fast, so personal, and so loud that it suddenly didn't feel like comedy anymore. It felt like something way more direct, almost like a fight over who gets to control the narrative, and that's really where everything shifted, because Trump didn't respond like someone brushing off a TV comedian, he reacted like it actually mattered.
Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know? I want to take a chance. I say, is that Ivanka? You look just like Ivanka, which is a great compliment, actually.
What stage of dementia is not recognizing the daughter you are physically attracted to? 11?
He came back like someone who'd been watching every second, just sitting there, letting it build, waiting for the moment to fire back, and then finally snapping, going straight into that familiar rant about how Kimmel has no talent, terrible ratings, and shouldn't even be on the air anymore.
Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman. Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So
it was clearly meant to come off like dominance, but honestly it landed more like panic, and Kimmel picked up on that instantly. Instead of getting defensive, he flipped it, turned the whole attack right back around like a mirror, basically saying if anyone should be trusted when it comes to bad ratings, it's probably the guy whose approval numbers were dropping in front of everyone, and yeah, the crowd lost it. But he wasn't just going for a punchline anymore. He was shifting the entire frame of the story. Trump wanted this to look like some desperate TV host chasing attention, but Kimmel turned it into something else completely. Like here's this powerful guy who supposedly doesn't care, yet can't stop watching and reacting to people he claims don't matter, and that's when it all started to feel bigger. Kimmel zoomed out, started talking about the pressure campaigns, the threats toward networks, the power games between billionaires running media companies, and the deeper fear sitting underneath all of it. Like this isn't just some celebrity back and forth anymore, this is about who actually gets to shape what people see and believe on TV, who gets pushed down, who gets lifted up, and why someone with that much political power still seems so fixated on going after every camera that doesn't make him look good. The audience was still laughing, but it felt different now, a little tighter, more aware, like everyone could feel this wasn't just another monologue, it was something closer to exposure. And then Kimmel leaned right into the part that made the whole room go completely still.
I mean, Trump, poor guy, he hasn't been able to get an insurrection for years. It's at this point, an insurrection might be the only way he can get an outsurrection. A good president right now, a normal president, will be looking for a way to de-escalate the situation, but not our Donald. He turns the temperature up on everything but his wife. He keeps claiming the protesters are paid, although they never say by who.
Then he went straight into the questions Trump just can't seem to outrun, the files, the old connections, the stuff he keeps calling irrelevant right up until someone brings it up on air, and Kimmel didn't come in yelling or making wild accusations, he did something way more unsettling. He just calmly asked why someone who claims total innocence reacts like being seen is the real danger. Like why every push for transparency suddenly turns into a personal attack. Why every request for records becomes this whole performance about unfairness, loyalty, enemies, all of it, and you could feel the room shift because when you ask those questions quietly, they stop being funny. And of course Trump's response followed that same pattern, just flood everything, take credit, declare victory, act like whatever statement or announcement is out there this week somehow closes the case just by confidence alone. But Kimmel caught the contradiction right away. Because the more Trump tried to say it was over, the more he pulled everyone's attention right back to the thing he clearly wanted buried. It was like watching someone slam a door while yelling at everyone not to think about what's behind it, and Kimmel just let that sit there, didn't rush it, and then did what he does best. He made the contradiction itself the joke. And then it took another turn, almost surreal at that point, with the official White House response, the polished language, the press room cleanup, calm faces trying to answer these strange questions that only existed because of Trump's own words, and Kimmel just replayed it all and let how absurd it sounded speak for itself.
Don't worry, President Donald J. Rumsfeld says we are locked and loaded for the long haul. He says The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever. Oh, good, the war can be fought forever. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. Just like the war his stomach is fighting with his pants.
And once something that sounds like a late-night joke starts getting addressed from a White House podium, that's when the line between entertainment and an actual political situation starts to blur, and that's really what left the crowd stunned. It wasn't just what was being said, it was the collision of it all, a monologue happening in one room, a press briefing in another, and a president somehow sitting in the middle of both. Still acting like every escalation is someone else's fault. By that point, Kimmel wasn't just making jokes about Trump anymore, he was laying out a pattern, clear as day. Trump attacks, Trump threatens, Trump says he's winning, then the White House has to step in and explain what he really meant, and then he attacks again because the explanation was never the point was always the display of power. And Kimmel slowed that whole cycle down just enough for people to actually see it, and once you see it, it stops looking strong, it starts looking kind of desperate. That's why the whole "get Kimmel fired" thing landed so badly, because it showed too much. It showed that someone demanding power still can't handle being mocked, that someone who leans on strongman language can still react like a hurt celebrity when a joke hits, that it's not just about answering criticism, it's about wanting critics gone. And Kimmel picked up on all of that and didn't respond with anger or fear. He just stayed calm and made fun of it, which somehow makes it land even harder. By the end, he brought it all back with one final line, quiet but sharp, flipping Trump's own words and tossing them back with a smile, and the crowd went wild because they got it. Trump tried to make him look weak, but instead he exposed his own obsession, his own thin skin, and that constant need to stay in the spotlight no matter what. And that's really where the humiliation was. Not just in the joke or the laughter, but in the fact that threatening a comedian ended up revealing something way bigger than a feud. It showed the instinct underneath everything, that when he can't control the joke, he tries to control the stage. And that's the moment where this stops being about TV and starts feeling harder to ignore, because when power starts reacting to comedy like it's a real threat, it says a lot about how shaky that power might actually be behind the scenes. Kimmel didn't need to raise his voice or chase anything, he just kept pointing at the pattern, and the pattern kept proving itself in real time. Every attempt to shut things down only made them louder. Every move to dominate the narrative just showed how little control there really was. And you could feel the audience realizing that live, not as some headline, but as it was happening. This wasn't just entertainment anymore, it felt like a window into how influence works. How it gets defended, and how quickly it starts to crack when people laugh at it instead of fearing it. Because laughter does something outrage can't, it shrinks things, it takes something loud and makes it feel small. And in that moment, under those studio lights, with a crowd that just refused to take the threat seriously, Kimmel didn't just land a joke, he exposed the one thing Trump keeps trying to hide. That once people start questioning your control out loud, it's a lot harder to get it back than it is to pretend you never lost it.